Hi everyone, this is the Candy Couple. I'm Julia and Erin is running the camera. And today I want to show you how we make our homemade laundry soap that is under $20 for the entire year. But before we get started, please hit the like button and we would really appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel. So I have been making our homemade laundry soap for years, like probably for me 10 years. Aaron, once it was official and he decided I was the one, I started making it for him as well, and he's not turned back since. So my recipe is very simple. You are going to see a lot of recipes out there and they might really work for you, spending $60 for an entire year's worth of laundry soap. Mine is under 20 and it's very few ingredients. So what you need is you need a bucket, you need a pot. Aaron's going to show you that. You need washing soda. You need borax. Vinegar is optional. You do not have to have vinegar. And you need a soap. We have Zote, and here is Fels-Naptha. Now, I use Zote because I can get 2 5-gallon bucket batches of Zote from one bar. Fels-Naptha, it takes the entire bar, and it's way more expensive. Way more expensive.
Yeah, since the Fels-Naptha shortage that's happened, it's extremely makes it not cost effective.
Right. Now, I will tell you, we do keep Fels-Naptha in the house. And the reason we keep Fels-Naptha in the house is because after Aaron is outside, or I'm outside and we're in an area where we've been around poison ivy, we have heard that if you wash with Fels-Naptha, it does help cut through those wools. So we do keep it in the house. So the very first thing you're going to do, and this is where Zote is a little less ease of use, you actually have to grate it. So I have an old cheese grater that I don't use for anything else but soap making, and I just cut it, make a line, and I'll just grate it down to that line, then I'll grate the other half. Now Fels-Naptha you can run through, and what you'll get is a nice powdery substance here. And then from here, we pour this into our water. We let it boil for about an hour, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. And then we actually start to fill our bucket. But I want to break down the costs here with you. You all are going to see I have my note here, so please bear with me. So if you do not use the vinegar, this is actually going to be under $15 a year or so. And the most expensive part of this is your initial costs, because this bucket is used for nothing but soap making.
And this is for a family of 3 as well.
Family of 3. We thought the baby, she's really not, she added a few more loads of laundry a week. A few more. And also doing outside clothes, work outside clothes, things of that nature. Those are all a separate load as well. So we're using Walmart prices, but we have found we can actually get vinegar a little bit cheaper, but it's $3.30. Now, the borax has went up. I think we got it, it was right at $3, $4 when we were getting it before. Now it's just under $6. The washing soda is just under $5 at $4.76. Now the Zote is $1.62. So I will tell you, I buy this, probably buy 2 or 3 bars every 6 months just to keep my stockpile going. We don't make soap that often. We really make it once a quarter. But I do like to have it on hand because you can spot treat with it. You can do anything with it. We really don't, but I do like having a lot on hand. But I also found this at Big Lots when I first started doing this. And I would use the 20% off coupon, and I bought a ton of it with my gram. And my gram actually ended up giving me all of it because she doesn't make homemade soap anymore. I will also tell you, if you have sensitive skin, I have extremely sensitive skin. I have to be very careful what laundry soaps I use, what lotions I use, anything like that. I have to be extremely careful because it can cause me to break out. Actually, before I met Aaron, my skin was the worst you had ever seen. I was never without a breakout, even with using this soap, and it has helped a lot. But I can say I don't get the breakouts. It's a very mild detergent. It's very easy on your skin, so if you are sensitive skin, it really does help. And it doesn't have a very strong odor or smell. We'll say when you're mixing the powders and stuff at first, your nose is you're gonna sneeze. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to show you how we put all this together. Okay, so this is not how I would normally do this, but we're trying times in our household right now. And Aaron realized, because they're not starting the house as quickly as we thought, that we were going to be running out of laundry detergent. So we do keep a note whenever we get down to a certain amount. And this is one 5-gallon bucket batch that we make once a quarter. So 5 gallons gets us through 3 months, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to go ahead and pour my soap in there. And until I get most of it in there. And what you're going to do is and I'm going to sneeze. What you're going to do is you're just going to let it sit, and this is going to simmer for about an hour. It's going to melt in there, so the pieces are very small, and I have found the longer I let it simmer, the more my soap actually sits up. So let me show you the rest of it. Okay, so now that my water and my Zote is cooking, my soap, I'm actually going to go ahead and start the next process, which is adding my powders and my vinegar to my bucket. So this is a very easy and simple process. It's really not a lot of work. It's more just sitting and waiting. So the borax, which is going to be under $6 for the entire box, you're going to want to use 2 cups. And I use a little bit more than 2 cups, and I just eyeball it because I kind of know where it is in my bucket. So all I'm going to do is go over here and pour. You can see, getting the bucket. And these last forever. You could tell that these are very old for us because they're very, they've gotten moisture in them, so they're kind of clumped up. And then we have the washing sodas, and this is really a more high-powered baking soda. That's what it is, and it's under $5 at Walmart. And I'm going to do the same thing, 2 cups. This one's a little bit newer. Just a little bit more. That should be good. Okay, and then this is just what it looks like up to this point. And then from here, I add a little bit of my vinegar. So I would really just use 1/4 of this. I wouldn't use much more of that. You don't need a whole gallon. You don't need a half a gallon. You only need a little bit. You're just sort of amping up your washing soda. You're just amping up the power it has. And here is where we use our yardstick. And if you have a really big wood spoon, that works too. I like the yardstick. It works really well because I'm going to have to stir this whenever I get it all together. So I'm actually just going to come in here. And you see these clotted pieces in here? I'm actually just going to work to really chomp those down. Just getting it mixed up with the vinegar is really the main thing here, because what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to make it as smooth as you can when you add your hot soapy water to it. Then we're going to add some more soapy water on top of that, and we let it sit. So this is really all we have to do right now. We have to let our water sit, but once we're ready to add that, we'll show you the next step. So now our soap is cooked and it's simmered for about an hour. So now we can finish really the last stage of making the soap beyond putting it in the jugs to use later. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour the hot soap into our mixture that we made just a little bit ago and get that really good a mix, and keep adding water until this bucket is completely full. So I'm going to step right here and get that. And be careful because this is going to be hot. So normally I would have my oven mitts. We have to be very careful.
Normally I'm doing it.
I'm going to do a little at a time because I also want to mix. Because you want to make sure you get your stuff in here mixed really, really well. That's super important because the better it mixes, the better it's going to be. Did I mention this is liquid? This is liquid laundry detergent. This is not a powder, if you didn't realize. But we'll show you all how we bottle this up and how much we actually get out of it. We typically get just under 5 gallons once it gets completely filled up, and we'll show you the size cup Erin uses. Again, we're just really making sure all of those big pieces are in there, and then we'll come in and we'll add the rest of it. Just be very careful. And this is my soap pot. This is the only thing I use this pot for. It was actually one of the few pots Erin had that whenever I moved in I kept. You can already tell it's kind of hard for me to actually stir it. That's from where it's starting to actually set up. So now we'll start adding some cold water. Okay, now we're just going to keep adding water till it gets full. This is my first pot full. I'll probably have to do one more. And then we just keep stirring in between. So you always want to make sure you're stirring in between. You're going to feel a difference. It's not going to feel like you're stirring a bowl full of water or a bucket full of water. You're going to feel resistance, especially at the bottom. You can tell. So with this pretty pink color, we'll say there is a Zote that is white, and you can buy it pre-shaped, and we did that once. But we didn't see that much of a benefit, and I actually preferred the pink. It was a little bit better. That was a really long time ago when we got it pre-bought.
And you save a little bit more too by using the
I think it was like $3, and you get the same amount for $3 versus what we got.
Now they do have a blue one that isn't shaved too, right?
I think it's white.
I mean, a white one that isn't shaved yet.
A white one that isn't
so
shaved.
I mean, you don't have to have the pink.
The pink is in our area is the one you're going to see the most of. And again, it gets so diluted in here, but it still works so well. It's not really diluted. It works very, very well. It's a good laundry detergent. It works really well for us. But I mean, you don't have a super strong odor or smell to it. It's not like one of those where you're gonna get this flowery scent. It does smell very nice. It's very light. I will say it does aggravate my allergies whenever I'm shaving it. I have to sneeze every time. So I'm just gonna add more water, and I think it should just be one more half of a pot before we're done.
Okay.
So here's our last pot of water that we're gonna put in. And again, we just fill it up to the top or right at the top. As you can see, I have this in my sink. You can do this in your bathtub. I have done it in a bathtub before. I will say, if your back hurts, bending over from the bathtub, that's hard. Because when you're bottling this up, it gets to be a very hard job. So the sink is nice because it's at your level. It's it's much easier to bottle up. I wouldn't change how we've been doing this, even when we get a better bathtub for this process, because it's so much easier. Now, you put it in the bathtub and you can't get to it the next day, it's not that big of a deal. Once it's in your sink, it kind of forces you to have to bottle it up the next day. So after this point, really all we're doing is we're just going to stir it throughout the night. When we come in here, for the most part, I just set it and forget it. That's how easy this is. You put your stuff in, 5 ingredients: water, the borax, the washing powders or the washing soda, the vinegar, and the soap. You put it in there, throw it in, and you're done. And it sets, and then we use it for a whole 3 months and takes care of us, so we have to make our next batch. So we will show you how we actually get this into jugs and how Erin uses it to do laundry. Okay, so it has been about 26 hours since we put our soap in the bucket to set up, and we have stirred it occasionally. And when you do this, you're going to notice you're going to get some really big pieces here. You can kind of see them. Kind of hold one up. So you see it does set up. It gets really thick. Now you want to break this up as much as you can, and I have found the best way to do that is just get my hands in here and do it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here. I'm just going to pull those pieces up. I'm just going to break them apart. And you can go all the way in, all the way down to the bottom. I have a hard time with that, so I will typically, you can see This is from the middle. Here, you're just gonna come in here and break it up. And it'll be a solid sheet. You can ask Aaron. It will be an absolute solid sheet of soap on top. Like you're gonna think you can't even get through it, but it will. And you can tell it just turned into this really good liquid soap to use. And this is the messiest part of the entire process, when you say.
Oh yes, definitely.
And I will say this is my first time having a real funnel. So I'm kind of excited. I haven't had a real funnel before now. So tell everybody how you use the soap.
So what I use is, you'll see if you want to pick it up down there actually, the Tide, like an old Tide jug itself. Yeah, one of the old ones. So I use the cap and I pour 2 of those into each load. Now I will say before it was probably closer to 1.5, but since the baby, I've been doing 2 to get all the messes off of her clothes better.
And how many loads of laundry do you say we're doing? At most. 3 is the most, right?
3 is at the most. I say, I mean, it averages probably 1.5 a week.
I agree with that. And yes, we are not a traditional couple. Aaron does the laundry. So when we got together, I moved in and he was already doing laundry. He said, I'll do it. I'll keep doing the laundry. So since then, he's really been the one to do it. We help, hang it up and everything. I don't leave that for him, but he's the one that carries it down and fills the washing machine and takes care of all of that. Okay, so I'm going to rinse my hands off or wash them off here. And the other thing you want to do, so we use old vinegar jugs for ours. Let me see, that's an old vinegar jug. Mm-hmm. And you want to put it inside of something. You want to set it inside of something to catch as much of that soap as possible. So typically what we use is, I have a tub that I use for dishes, dirty dishes. I keep that in the sink. So if I'm hand washing, I fill up that tub and I use it. But I don't have that, so I'm actually going to use my soap pot. You take a funnel. And then we are just going to start scooping these out. Getting these as full as you can. You can kind of see it goes down really easy. If you have any more thick pieces, you can take a wooden spoon and flip it and push it through. I've done that many times, but I always try to break it up beforehand. My preference is to use a 4-cup measuring cup to do this, because you get the handle. It's a little bit easier. But you're just going to do this until you fill up as many jugs as you can. And I'm just going to keep doing this, and then we'll show you what the end process looks like. Okay, so after about 20 minutes of a little bit of work and dealing with some soap, which doesn't really hurt anybody, we have 5 gallons of laundry detergent to use. Now, we did have a ½ gallon before that. That's why we went ahead and made some soap so we would have enough to make it for the next 3 months at least. And now we have a full 5 gallons. Now, a lot of people would think this seems a bit excessive. It's a little bit too much. But before we started doing this here, Aaron, how much were you spending a month?
I think I was going through one of those Tide ones a month, which at the time was $11 and something. So I'm not for sure even what they are now, since we don't shop for it. But it was, if you think about that, $11 a month times 12 months, it's like $132, yeah, something like that. So definitely
worth
savings.
$110,
yeah,
because this is under $20. So you're saving
right.
over $110 every year, just on laundry detergent.
Right.
Now, when I started making this, I was living at home, and my gram would buy all free and clear, and with coupons at CVS, she was getting it for under $12. And I would say we were probably going through at least one every month, maybe every 2. And we went this route, which really helped save money. Now, I know a lot of people say they have issues with a film in their washing machine. We do not have that problem with this.
No, not at all with this.
At all, ever. As long as you make sure it gets really good and really well mixed, You have no clumpy pieces, and you're gonna know as you're working through it and you're getting it into your gallon jugs or whatever you're using. You're gonna notice if you're clumpy, if you have something hard in there, if you're stuffed in it, break down. So you can start breaking that down inside of there or pull it out. Those are really your options. But I have to say, this is probably one of the best money saving things that I brought into the marriage, besides all the others that I brought in, because it's so easy. It's no next to no work. The hardest part is jugging it up, but if you do it the right way, like we did it here at the sink, it took me no time. It's not breaking my back because I can stand. I'm at a good height, and it doesn't really hurt that bad, and or it doesn't hurt at all. And I get all of this laundry detergent that works for our family for 3 months, and it costs me less than $20 a year. Less than $20 a year. It's insane. People spending $12, $15 for a gallon of laundry detergent a month. And if you're doing a lot of laundry, that's not going to last you that long, because they put so much water in those laundry detergents. And we did use a lot of water here, but ours was very, it just works. We have found this really works for our family. Never really had any problems with it. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, just from the money saving standpoint, this is something that highly suggest anybody, make your own laundry detergent soap.
Somehow. So
Yes.
thank you for joining us today. And as always, please feel free to look at our other content on our link tree, and it's down in the description below. And as always, thank you for joining us on the Candy Couple, where we work hard, live simple, and enjoy life. Have a wonderful day.